And I chose this option so that all of you can share the screen. We can check it right now. Nina, do you need to share something with us?
No.
Or maybe you need a board? What
yeah, that would be... No, just gonna, no. I don't think so. I might decide on the way that I notice, like, oh, I might do need a board, but I don't think I will, because I don't really know how to, because...
So if you need, that's not a problem. You always can ask a student if you don't, if you have children who are able to write for help. So I'm ready to help if you want us to write something on a board. So just ask me.
Yeah, if I need it, I will.
Okay.
I will ask you.
So 20 minutes full on, right?
15 for the work. So try to finish.
Yeah, it is. I do want to give one comment beforehand, because I'm actually going to do this in my teaching practice class. So the session I prepared is originally longer than the 15 minutes. I'm just going to do part of it.
Okay.
So, and in my teaching practice, I would also split it up in different sessions, because their attention span is just not that long. Yeah, but just so you know that this is not the full session, it's just the starting point.
Yeah. Shall I get a cup of coffee first, or do you really want to get started?
No, I'm ready to go. I'm a bit nervous. I don't know why, but it's just...
Yes, I sense that, Nina. That's why I made a nice little joke. Okay, here you go.
Okay. So I'm going to read you a story. And that's what we're going to start with. So I want you to imagine that you are traveling across the Pacific Ocean about the time of the ancient Greeks. This means that there is no electricity or any machines. Your form of transport is a large wooden ship with huge sails that has been traveling for weeks on end. But suddenly, there is a dark and powerful storm that whips up and rages for days. The storm is so strong that eventually your ship capsizes and you find yourself lost at sea. You manage to grab a hold of a piece of floating wood and you hang on for your dear life. The next morning, you wake up and you are laying on a beach of a tropical island. You stand up and you look around and you decide to go explore for a bit. You discover the island is full of wild animals and fruits. And in the middle of the island, there is a big mountain with several streams of fresh water running down, forming a lake at the bottom. And the lake is full of fish. You're relieved because there's plenty for you to live on. You decide to go back to where you started. And when you arrive, you see that you're not alone. There are some other survivors, and you are with 5 in total. You decide to huddle up and discuss what you should be doing next. But before you decide on how to survive, you're going to think of a name for your island. And that's what you are going to do now. So imagine you are on this island, and together you have to think of a name. Where would you start? Carmen, where would you start?
Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. I had some trouble with my microphone, but I think I would start with asking the others. Okay, so what are the options for the names out there? What do you guys think? And then try and throw my thing in there, see how they take it.
Okay, so you are now actually going to decide on a name. So you are, in this moment, you are on the island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, knowing not knowing how long you will be there. And together with your group, with all of you, you are now going to decide on the name for an island. So go ahead, start discussing.
Well, Nestor, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm just thinking about that because I was a little bit deep in the story. I don't know yet. I need time to think about that.
Does anyone have a suggestion already in mind? Or, yeah, Marcel?
I do have a suggestion, but I'd like to hear the others first.
Maybe the Lost Island could be an option.
Did you say lost or last?
Lost.
Lost. Yeah, lost. Yeah.
Okay. Others? Doing my utmost here to show my democratic side.
Yeah, we don't know a lot about what the island itself, do we? So that would be then yeah. How can we name it? The unknown island.
Do we have to know what it looks like?
Yeah, no, yeah. It usually makes it easier, I think, to come up with the name.
Yeah, if, for example, if you see a palm tree, it could be Palm Tree Island or.
Yeah, and since we don't really know what's on there, it's still it's the unknown or the wild island. But these are just guesses, ideas.
What do you think, Anastasia?
I have a terrible question in mind. Like, why do we have to look for a name? Why do we start with it? We need to know more about, I don't know, surviving before thinking of the name. So why are we looking for a name? I wonder about that.
That's a philosopher's question. Why?
It really stops me from giving a name, and the only name that comes to my mind is like double wonder. I wonder why we need a name, and it can be a wonder island because we don't know it.
Well, that matches my name. My name was Hurry Up. It's a name for the island. So
Hurry up! Stop discussing and
hurry up. Let's move across the island and see if we can find something to eat.
Okay.
Because I'm getting hungry. Yeah.
I'm going to break in for a little while because I'm going to give you a time limit. In about 3 minutes, you need to have decided on a name. So go ahead, your 3 minutes start now.
All right. So what do we need in order to decide, and to decide as quickly as possible?
Agreement.
I think a willingness from the other participants to pick one, I guess. Yeah.
So how would we organize that?
First, maybe share our options.
Yep.
Share the ideas. So we
We have
have
3 minutes only.
Yeah.
2 now.
2 minutes. So do we have a few ideas, right? Nastran, any more ideas? No.
I'm thinking now. Yeah, maybe in 1 minute.
What about the suggestions we've already heard? Was there any one of those that really stuck with you?
Yeah.
Good plan.
So there's Double Wonder, there's Hurry Up, there's Lost Island, there's Wild Island, the Unknown Island. That's it. Thank you, Anastasia, for visualizing it.
For me personally, it's just like with the vaccines. In God's name, make a decision. I don't care what decision.
Exactly.
Make a decision. So choose one.
So we can do this by voting. I was like voting. Who likes to vote for Lost Island? None. Wild Island? No, the Island of Unknown. I'd go for this one too. That's 2. Land for Life. No one. Wonder Island. That's 1. That's 2. And hurry up.
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, so that's 2 votes for Wonder Island and 2 votes for the Island of Unknown. And we got hurry up, so that's a tie. How do we resolve a tie?
Well, skip the one with 1 vote, and you have 2 with 2 votes remaining.
Yeah. Well, Marcel, would you like to make the final decision?
What was the choice between which 2?
The Island of Unknown and Wonder Island.
Wonder Island it is, as far as I'm concerned.
All right.
Okay. So you've come up with a name, Wonder Island. Nastaran, can you explain how you came to this decision as a group?
As a group for the Wonder Island, you mean?
Mhm.
To choose it, yeah, because when I come to a new island that is new for me, so it would be wonderful to find it, actually, to see where is it and find something new, to discover it, actually. That's why I think that it would be wonderful.
So that's your reason for the name.
Yeah.
But how did you actually end up making the decision?
Making the decision, maybe came to my feeling. It could be connect to my feeling.
Okay.
I would just consider myself, if I arrive to somewhere new, I would be excited to discover it. That's why it would be
Sorry to interrupt, but that's about your personal choice, Nastaran,
for
right?
your
And I
personal
think
choice.
that-
But as a group, you mean?
Yeah, I think that's what Nina means, right?
Yeah. Marcel, maybe you can, while you're talking, maybe you can explain how, as a group, did you come to this decision to name it Wonder Island?
Well, a few people went yelling about a name because the silence was so awkward. And then I think a procedure emerged from the group where Bernard was the informal leader, taking the lead, and at least having the overview of all the names. I forgot half of the names halfway the procedure. I don't know how the others experienced that. But Bernard was very thoughtful and listed and led us into voting. So I think that's
voting.
That's how I think it went. I'm not sure whether my perception is correct.
Carmen, do you agree with what Marcel just said?
Yeah, I agree that we voted for Wonder Island collectively and made a decision based on our votes. Yeah.
Okay. So your way of decision making is voting. Were there any problems while voting?
There was a tie.
Okay. And how did you solve that?
Marcel gave the final answer.
Okay. So it's very convenient that you're with the 5, so there's always a tiebreaker. What would happen if Marcel did not want to be the tiebreaker? What would you have done?
I think someone else would have been a tiebreaker. Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another way to solve such a disagreement than just tiebreakers? What would be another way to solve a disagreement within the group while making a decision?
We can cast the lots.
Can you repeat? I think you...
We can cast the lots. So we can suggest 2 names that we vote, like most of us voted for.
Mm-hmm.
And just, again, like number them, roll a die and choose the one.
Okay, that's very interesting. Marcel?
Or we could do what most Scandinavians do, and that is sit down and form a committee and discuss and discuss and discuss and drink and drink and drink and discuss and discuss and discuss until you've reached consensus.
Yeah.
And everybody agrees. And that's my favorite method, not because of the discussion, but because of the drinks.
And I have even one more idea. So maybe Carmen or Nastaran or Bernard, you may say first.
Yeah, well, we could appoint a decision maker. So we can all together say like, okay, you will be the decision maker, or you can make the decision, allow someone to make the decision.
Like you were the one who led the voting, so we can say, okay, Bernard, let it be your last voice. So
well, maybe yeah.
So you're the leader.
Well, it could be anyone from the group that we think whose authority we trust, or whose knowledge, expertise we trust.
35 seconds, Nina.
Oh, really?
Really?
Oh, okay. Well, you've just named a few different ways how you can decide. And now we've only decided about the matter of a name for the island. And there's not really anything depending on the name for the island. Would you still choose to vote when the decision was based, the outcome of the decision would have more impact? For instance, you find a source of water and you're, oh, that was it, right? Yeah. Okay. So how I would have proceeded is to give another example of a more, what's the word? A scenario where something is at stake. If you would still have this way of decision making, and then I would go into fairness and blah, 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 blah.
More pressing points of decision making. Yeah. And then putting the time pressure on even more and even further.
Yeah. And then the ticket to go for this session would have been what method or methods will you use on your island to make decisions, and why?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a ticket to go to have like a final decision. Then I would write that down and take that with me to the next session, where we would recap and then move on to the second part of the session.
Looking at the clock, shall we start the feedback round?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I time that as well, or is that too stringent? What do you think?
Oh, I think we can use the timer all the time today.
Yeah.
So it can be really
okay,
helpful.
It's on. Do you want to start?
Tip top or
no, I prefer to be the last one today.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Carmen.
So can I start? So I like the setting that Nina brought us in, the island and the whole story. Before, it was for me very easy to get really lost in her story and really picture myself right there on the ship. So I thought that was a great stimulus. Too bad that we didn't get to finish or go a little bit further into the activity. I would have really loved to see the rest of it. So I guess that would have been my only tip, time management wise. Have a faster paced session. Yeah.
Thank you.
Please hand over the mic to someone else.
Oh yeah, Bernard.
Yes, thank you. So my top is definitely the way you tell the story really takes you there. So very vivid stimulus. The tip would be, I think it wasn't too clear that we had to discuss about the name of a group at COVID example. So maybe instruction wise, especially when there's little students, very young students. maybe write the instructions down somewhere or use a slide. So it's for them, it's always a point of reference. They might easily forget what to do. So that's it.
Thanks. Very helpful.
Nasran, you can go.
Yeah, thank you. So I also agree with Bernard and Carmen about this story. That was really good, and it would really catch the attention of the students for the first time. But I'm also agree with Bernard to make it a little bit clear for students from the first that actually what they have to do, because it may be a little bit confused to find the name. And if you go further to, because I think they need to make some rule, I think, to as we talked before, they need to understand actually the structure, what they're supposed to do. Otherwise they will lose, and then they cannot, especially if you work with younger one. So then Marcel.
Yes, I go with what has already been said, especially what Carmen said about the pace. So a bit quicker could help, and I think to make it easier for participants, you could also alternatively distribute 5 or 6 or 7 names already beforehand for participants to decide on. And then when you would have more time for the other part, for instance. So if it is about making your point that the philosophical session is about decision making, because I think it comes from Republic Island, right? In the Worley's book, yeah. So decision making is one of the topics here. So then you could speed this part up by pre-structuring it a little bit, or along the lines of what Bernard said, make the instruction clearer, very precise what people need to do. So that could help. Yeah. But other than that, well led. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anastasia?
Yeah, I worked on this topic this weekend. That's
really
funny. Yeah, and Marcel, I can be honest, I even took your picture.
What?
Yeah. So I hope you won't mind.
Whoa, because you've already asked me before. That's all.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really bright. So I didn't follow the structure of the lesson, but first, on Nina. So I really like this combination that I appreciate a lot, like experience first, and then analysis. And actually you suggest this experience, and even if you really need to speed up, then it's a nice idea to give some a few names, so to make it faster. On the other hand, if you really want this true experience, and to analyze the structure, that first we are confused, then we have a brainstorm, then we like an informal leader appears, then we vote, and etc. So we can analyze the full structure, what's going on. It's really great. So I would add one thing. When Nastaran gave her arguments for the choice, and then gave even more arguments for her choice. So you could have asked, it depends again on your style, on your aims, but you could have asked Nastaran before Marcel suggested his help. So could you tell me which question are you answering? So
I was really thinking of doing that, but then I was like, how do you find the balance in like cutting? Because in my head, you were like the kids in my classroom, and they're just very.
Okay, you can one more suggestion. If not that one, if it's a bit maybe strict, you can do it maybe later, or with not that young children. You can suggest are you giving arguments for your personal choice, or you explain the group's choice? Then you make it clear, you make it more obvious. So you can so suggest this observation yourself, and like link to your initial question. And Nastaran can, I'm explaining my own answer, my personal answer, and for the group maybe it worked for everybody. Like I suppose maybe this way worked for everybody, or she can add something else and give you another answer. And Yeah, the last comment and we move on. So I didn't work with the name of the island. It was a very short story without these beautiful things. And I asked children, what would they do first? They just find themselves wet on the island.
Yeah.
See the group, what would they do first? And they had a number of very practical ideas and decided, like, tried to order them, or they criticized and practiced some problem solving. And then you notice that sometimes they agree on something, sometimes they strongly disagree. There is a discussion, there is an argument. And then it's again, you can appeal to this experience and ask, okay, so what do you think? Will we survive if we do everything on our own, or it's really better to work as a group, as a team? So what can we do? What can we think of to overcome this argument? Yeah, to make a decision when it's so difficult. Yeah, and we have maybe not so much time. So that's what we did. So I changed the beginning. So I'm over.
Thank you.
Okay. So who's next?
Yeah. So, okay, Bernard, you're welcome. The mic.
You're muted.
I do need to share a presentation, so can I?
You can do it. Yeah.
I can share screen, right? Yeah.
Okay, the timer is on.
Yeah. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Oh, and presents. So, hi there. Today we need the following materials: a pencil or something to write with, and a piece of paper. If we all have that ready, we are ready to proceed. Could be a pencil, could also just be a pen, could even be a color pencil if you have nothing else. If you're ready, please do a thumbs up so I can see that you're ready. All right. Well, today we're gonna read a little story, and it's a story about sharing. And I hope you can all hear the sound. It's a story of Llama Llama, time to share.
I'm not hearing anything.
Same over here.
Me neither.
Oh.
Maybe you can
Oh yeah, I've
lines, yeah, to make it, yeah, not to work on the technical part.
Was it? Brand new neighbors come
Oh.
to visit.
Oh, I hear something.
this should work. Yeah.
Llama, this is Nellie New. Look, she has a dolly too. Mrs. New, would you like tea? Come have a cup with me. You two kids can play in there, and Llama, don't forget to share. Trains and trucks and puzzles too. What's the new girl want to do? Play with kitchen, build with blocks. Llama opens his box. Nellie starts to build a town. Llama starts to frown. Nellie New makes walls and stairs. Llama watches from a chair. Nellie stacks the blocks up high. Fuzzy Llama wants to try. It's a castle. Make it tall. Fuzzy Llama jumps the wall. Build a tower. Make a moat. Nellie's dolly rows a boat. What can Llama add? Maybe sharing's not so bad. Little baby New makes noise. Mrs. New gets jingly toys. Baby screams and kicks his feet. Mama thinks it's time to eat. Moms are talking, baby's chewing. Where's that new girl? What's she doing? Oh, disaster! Dolly drama. Nellie New has fuzzy llama. He's not hers. This isn't fair. Llama doesn't like to share.
Oh,
Llama Llama Time to Share by Anna Dudney. Doesn't like to share.
now we've read our story so far, and at this point, Llama doesn't really like to share, and they both hold on to one side of Fuzzy Llama. What do you think will happen next in the story? And why do you think it happens? You can write down or draw your answer on your piece of paper. So what do you think will happen next in the story?
Sorry, I have a question. What will happen after that she doesn't share?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're both holding on to the Fuzzy Llama. What do you think will happen? You can write it down or you can draw what you think will happen. All right. Please show me a thumbs up if you're ready. Yes. All right. So usually we would be sharing our answers first with a partner before we discuss. But since it's the four of us and sharing in Google, in Microsoft Teams is not really happening, we're going to go straight on to your answer. I'd like to hear from you. What do you think is going to happen? Who likes to go first?
I can go first if that's okay.
All right, Carmen, what do you think is going to happen next in the story?
I had written down that if they don't come to an agreement that they can play together, then the toy gets destroyed or split in half. Because they're both tucking on each side of the doll.
So you say the toy, they will rip the toy apart because they are not willing to share. All right. And you can pass on.
Oh, yeah. So, Nina.
Well, I actually think the same. I wrote down the toy will break if they keep pulling on each end, and then they will both get very sad and angry.
All right. Thank you for sharing. And why do you think that will happen, Nina?
Well, in the picture it looked like they were both pulling really hard on the toy. So I think that's why it would break. I didn't see anyone else in the picture to stop the pulling. So that's why I think it will break. And then, well, when your toy breaks, you get sad. So yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Nina. You can pick the next person. Choose someone else.
Marcel.
Whose answer you like to hear?
Yes, these are two very sensible kids. So one of them says, hang on, what we can do is that I play with Fuzzy Llama for one day, and then tomorrow we swap, then you can have him. And we repeat that on a daily basis. So then we can both enjoy Fuzzy Llama.
I don't want the toy to break. You can play with it now.
Exactly.
All right.
Then Nastran.
Yeah, thank you. I also thought about that they will break the toy because they will fight. It seems that they will fight.
Thank you.
And Anastasia?
Yeah, so I drew this tearing apart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and not to repeat, one more thing came to my mind. Maybe llama may stop. Yeah, again, see that this might happen. Stop and ask this new girl. Maybe you can share something with me. In return, so you can play with my toy, and maybe you can. I can play with yours.
You stop pulling and share other toys. All right, thank you for your answers. Now, let's have a look at what actually happens in the story. And oh, I can't. Usually the answers would be on the whiteboard. So let's see what happens.
Llama doesn't like to share.
Oh no.
Fuzzy Llama ripped in two, all because of Nellie New. It's a llama emergency. Mama, fix his arm for me. A bit of thread and good as new. But this is what we're going to do. I'll put Fuzzy on the stairs until you're sure that you can share.
So you were quite right. Oh, sorry, yeah, Anastasia.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We can make a print screen. So if you need to go back to our answers, yeah, you can do it. But now you can erase and yeah, move on the presentation.
Yeah. Can I? Oh wait. So yeah. So let's have a look at your answers. So you said, most of you said that the toy will break, and yes, it did break. But is that like why do you think they didn't stop? Why do you think they didn't stop? Like Marcel said, if they did what Marcel said, then the toy would still be all right. But why do you think they didn't stop fighting, Anastasia?
I think because of their emotions, and maybe the emotion was like this feeling of unfairness. That's why it is hard to stop.
So they both got a little upset, and they could not deal with their emotions anymore.
Yeah.
All right. What does the rest think of that answer? Is there anyone that agrees with Anastasia, or is there someone that has a different idea?
I agree with Anastasia. I also wanted to say that it's because of their emotion. Yeah.
Because they get so angry, they don't know what they do anymore. All right. Is there someone who'd like to give another answer or a different answer? Marcel?
Yes, thank you. I think they're very rational beings, and they immediately realize that as soon as they start to pull this fuzzy llama, then it will be torn apart. So they will stop and they will think and reason out a good solution, because humans are rational beings, as we all know, and this starts with children. So yeah, that's what I think will happen.
So yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, you've already shared your wonderful idea of what you think will happen. And yeah, we already saw the end of the video, in which we also saw what actually happened to the llama. So the llama didn't survive, the fuzzy llama, but it got broken into parts. So I think maybe you misunderstood the question, but yeah, let's continue with the next thing that you're going to think about, because well, the fuzzy llama broke, but could the story have ended in a different way? So, how could the story have ended in a different way? And how? So you can write or draw the alternative ending on your piece of paper.
There's 1 minute left.
And if you think, well, the story can't end in a different way, then why?
Should we answer it now, or?
Yeah, you can write.
I think Marcel in previous, he said that maybe one of them say something that we can share it. Use one of them use today, and then another person use it the next day, and they come up with some agreement to use it together, but in different time.
Okay.
Yeah, I spoke about, yes, this suggestion, maybe we can exchange some toys. And I thought of one more thing, like, again, it's something about casting the lots. We can suggest to hide the toy, and the one, like ask an adult or another kid to hide this toy, and the one who finds it first plays first.
All right, so you're already naming examples of how you can share toys and how you can play together.
Time's up.
Thank you. So that's all right. Thank you.
Yeah, we must.
We definitely
Marcel,
must.
like this.
So your answers would be here with the alternative story there.
Mhm.
An alternative, but of course it could also include that some students say no, and that's nice because I actually want to have that discussion. And if all of you said, well, yes, they should learn how to share, I try to pose the imaginary disagreeer there, because I really want students to go deep into why students should share. Well, sharing is important, and that's also the last question. And the reason I chose this stimulus is because we have a new student in class, and he's a bit of an EAL student too, and he doesn't really know how to share stuff. But I don't want to put him on the spot, so that's why we discuss this matter in this way. And the final, the results of this would be kind of our new agreements, would become our new agreements for how we play in class, and especially in the playground, because that's where it goes wrong a lot of times. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That was it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna stop share my screen now. Yeah.
Thank you, Bernard. You can say right away, I think, whom you want to give you feedback first.
Nastra.
Yes,
Please.
thank you. It was really interesting lesson actually, and important, I think, especially nowadays. But sharing, yeah, is especially because most of the kids are single child now, and they don't like to share their stuff actually. And I think it was good, but I cannot say something that maybe you can do it better. It would be maybe do some time management maybe, but I don't know for how many minutes you want to do that. And but it's good. It was really nice lesson. I like it. And the next, Carmen, maybe.
No, I definitely agree with. I just like how visual everything was, that we could read with the questions and what you've written down. I think that's also a great thing that I'll take with me for any other online sessions. I didn't prepare it now, but now I realize, okay, that's actually super, super handy. I like the flow of it, and you talked very calmly and were very easy to understand. So I don't really have any tips at this point. So I'm just going to pass the mic. Yeah, to Anastasia.
I want to interrupt here. So I think we'll have some afterthoughts. So yeah, so you're very welcome to add any comments that come to you, any thoughts that come to you after the session, and you can do it in our chat. Now we have it, so share with everybody. If you want to do it, personally, of course you can, but I think it's better to to write it there.
Yes, and it also doesn't always come naturally right after the session.
Yeah.
So if you think of something, then please share via the chat. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Carmen, is there anyone you'd like to continue?
Yeah, I'll pass the mic on to Nina.
Yeah, I also really liked the session. What I found particularly great was the mind map and the way you used it. So to let us share, but also to ask some more follow-up questions, like why did you choose this answer? To to help think deeper about your answer. I thought that was really great. And as a tip, at one point after Marcel's question, you said maybe you misunderstood the question. And that made me confused, like, but
I was confused too, yeah.
So yeah, maybe, or follow up on that question, like if you state that someone might have been confused with the question, then explain what you meant, or not mention it at all, because now it left me in some sort of state like, what, but did I misunderstood, or what did he say, or wasn't I paying attention enough? So it made me go into my head and think more and focus less on your session. Then so that would be my tip, to either follow through when you say something's misunderstood, or to leave it out. But that's my only tip. For the rest, it was great. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I also didn't know really what to do. I think Marcel repeated his statement as some students would, I guess, indeed, when they are still stuck with their answer. And you're like, but this is good practice, because that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm playing the stupid kid here.
Yeah, so that's
disagree here.
So how oh yeah, I know we're not done yet.
I can comment now, and Marcel, you can be the last one this time. So yeah, I'm just taking the mic, sorry. So the strong points, it was really very close to actual experience, I guess, and you commented on that as well. That's great. And this creative part that you think about, like you stop in the story and you ask what's going to happen next. I really like doing that, and that's really different reading. More P4C reading. That was great. And that you prepare the structure online, of course. Now I wrote a few things on the facilitation. So I think I do it as well more in a more clear way, sometimes not that clear, but I really think it is nice to encourage children ask each other. So you can like explain this rule. So you ask the question, like what will be the end of the story? What do you think? And for example, ask, okay, Carmen, could you start? And ask, so what, then you, when you finish, choose the next person, name the name and ask the question. Not just, okay, Nastaran, but you stimulate them to repeat the question. So they focus and they really ask each other. So that's a good thing for everyone, to do. Then it was strange that sometimes you asked, why do you think so? And sometimes didn't. It was not a rule for each of us to give an argument to our answer. So you ask maybe only one person to comment why, but all the rest could just be creative without argumentation. So that was not clear why you did that. Then if you can do this like future telling and imagine that we all can speak about this tearing apart the toy, ripping the toy. You can check it in the very beginning, or almost at the very beginning. Is there anyone who has the same answer? And you can have you can see your hands. Especially if you have a big group. Is there anyone who has the same answer, like really the same? You thought about the same thing. You can see it. You can randomly ask why. Yeah, and maybe you thought about the same thing, but the reason is different. And you also can ask, is there anyone who has a similar answer? So maybe it's something like that, but a bit different. So would you like to share? And then you can move on. Do you have anything really different? Is there anyone who thought about an alternative ending? Yeah, and then you can do it a little bit faster then and see what's going on in the group.
No, like that.
Yeah. So when you ask someone else, like someone says like, I agree, then it's really good to ask like, why do you agree? Yeah, it's okay not to come up with a new idea, but also always ask, why do you think it's a good idea? Yeah, try to comment at least anyhow, like somehow. That was it. I will stop here.
Yes, I'll keep it brief because we need to move on to either Nastaran or Carmen. What I liked very much, Bernard, and I think that's really intelligent, is that you used philosophy in this session to illustrate something that happens in real life. What also Anastasia already pointed at. So I really like that, and you talked about not wanting to put that new kid in the classroom on the spot, but speaking about the situation in a hypothetical other context, as it were. So that is very strong, but at the same time, it's also a pitfall, I think, because how can you be sure that the kids will be able to transfer whatever they have learned from this philosophy session to the real life situation? So I have a question for you, not for you to answer right now, but just to ponder on. So how do you think you can realize that creation of classroom rules coming out of this philosophical session? So I very much appreciate the attempt, but I would be very curious how you would then make the transfer to real life and how that would look like. And again, you don't have to answer this right now, but maybe you can ponder on this and we can come back to it at a later moment. Unless you now want to say something.
No, yeah, the first thing that came in mind is that to have all students at the end write down one, let's say one rule or one agreement on what they think is, could help them, playing together and sharing the toys would improve the situation, and stick all those on one piece of paper and name it, or rename. Just take their answers and make one visual out of it. Yeah,
because that output needs to be organized. That's my point. Basically. Okay, let's not linger too long here. I think. Or
I'm sorry, the last thing. So if you go on, that's a good thing to finish with this practical part, like the poster of the sharing rules. So you apply it. The philosophy is practical, but you may also have another, maybe a different later session that is a bit more philosophical, I guess, and ask, is it always good to share? Like, is it always necessary to share? Because then we are like too straightforward and say that sharing is always good, always share, and like no exclusions. And that's then you can do it like later, separately.
That's a good idea.
So Carmen or Nastaran?
Oh no, it's not mine to choose.
Okay.
Should I go then next?
Yeah. You can, of course.
I'll go next. Okay. Whew. Okay. I think we should wait for Bernard for just a little while. He just popped off. So I just wanted to explain first that my target audience isn't necessarily a group of children, because I don't have teaching practice right now. So I've targeted it towards my mom and my grandmother, and so, adults. So if I were to teach it to children, I would change my big question slightly if I noticed that it wasn't an approachable topic to do in my teaching practice. So then I would change it to, which invention would you like to uninvent? So that's just starting out. That's not what we're doing today, but that's what I would change it to. after. So I've written down, what are you learning today? Some WOLDs. And it's at the end of this session, I'm able to use my creative thinking to understand the implications of living in a world without one specific thing. So that's what we're going to focus on today. I've gotten this book, I think I got it like 2 years ago. It's a short novel, a translated novel, and it's called If Cats Disappeared from the World. And it basically proposes that our main protagonist learns that he is about to die soon, and an incarnation of the devil appears and offers him a deal that for every extra day of life, something in the world must disappear. Therefore, the main question that we'll think about today is, what would you sacrifice for an extra day of life? And I'm going to read to you this short introduction about how the book is introduced as a kind of stimulus. So, if cats disappeared from the world, how would the world change? And how would my life change? If I disappeared from the world, well, I suppose nothing would change at all. Things would probably just go on day after day, same as usual. Okay, so you're probably thinking this is all a bit silly, but please believe me, what I'm about to tell you happened over the past 7 days. Now, that's what you call a weird week. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to die soon. So how did all this happen? My letter will explain everything. So it will probably be a long letter, but I'd like you to bear with me till the end, because this will be my first and my last letter to you. It's also my will and testament. So yeah, that's the short stimulus. I'm trying to share my screen just to, let's see if it works. If I do that one. Are you able to see my Word file? Yeah?
Yeah,
so I've got, the document. Yeah, so I've written down the big question, what would you sacrifice for an extra day of life? And you get about 2 minutes to think about it. Think about one main thing that you could sacrifice for an extra day of life, and I'll get back to you in about 2 minutes.
May I ask if I understood the question correctly? So what am I ready to lose? Yeah, the next day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What could you go without, basically? Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Carmen, to be sure, you mean that if I have only 1 day to live, what would I do? Or what?
No, not quite. Let's say you were offered a deal to sacrifice one thing. Could be books. So the next day, there would be no books in the whole world. No one would remember books. No one would remember that they were there. And then that would be the thing that you sacrifice in order to be alive that specific day. And so choose one object, one thing that you can go without, that you wouldn't mind losing to live another day.
Okay. Yeah, okay, thanks.
And we have about 1 minute left. Okay, are we all ready to share? If you are, please thumbs up. If not, then I can see by, yeah, okay. That's good. So let's start with Nina. What would you sacrifice for an extra day of life?
I would sacrifice my hole punch. You know, the thing to make
the hole puncher, yeah.
I can do without.
Yep. Okay, cool. Marcel.
Even if it would only result in an extra minute of my life, this would be a fantastic thing to sacrifice all around the world. Do you know that horrible television show, The Voice? And all of its formats in all the countries of the world, it's horrible television. If that would even, yeah, so.
The Voice.
Why do you find it horrible?
And even if I wouldn't gain another day, then still it would be a good idea to get it off screen.
Well, I like the thinking for sure. Nastaran.
I would sacrifice mobile phone.
Mobile phones. Okay,
Yeah.
very interesting. The protagonist actually also did that in one chapter for one day. Sacrificed
really?
mobile phones. Yeah. Fernand?
It has to be a true sacrifice.
It doesn't have to be a true, but it could be.
No, but like it should hurt a little. That's what I thought. So not for real, but I sacrificed bananas.
No world without bananas.
That is a real sacrifice, but one that I can.
It is.
One that I can live with.
Okay, cool. So Anastasia.
Alcohol.
Alcohol. Okay.
I would be happy. Yes. Oh. I can be joyful and crazy without alcohol, you know.
Yes, we noticed.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You don't know what I have in my cup. That's coffee, by the way.
Well, thank you for all the answers. So what we're going to do now is that you're going to pick one of these sacrifices and think about it for a while. What would it look like if the world had no mobile phones, or if the world had no bananas in them anymore? Would you be the only one affected? Would others be affected? So yeah, that will be the next thing to do is pick one of these and imagine how the world would look like without any of them. You have about 1 minute to just to make sure that everybody's clear, that everyone understood the question. Just thumbs up if you did, so I know. Okay. Yeah, cool. Okay. Okay, did we all find an answer, or do we still need a little bit more time?
Carmen, did you mean that we have to look for, that's how I understood it, that we have to look for how the world would look like without all of these things, or one of these things?
You can pick one of them. I think just to start with one of them, yeah.
Okay.
You can put in chat if you need some more time or if we can continue.
So we can use thumbs up. Like.
Okay, that's two. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the same.
So I think we need to wait for just a few more seconds so that everyone's finished. Though I suppose given the time limit, we won't be able to discuss every single one of your answers, even though I wish we could. But if let's just pick a few. Does anyone want to share first their idea of how the world would look like? Yeah, Anastasia?
So without bananas, monkeys would cry and try new things.
Ah, so they could go crazy, basically. They could go bananas for...
They can't because there are no bananas. But they can start trying new things they have never tried before.
Yeah. Okay, do we agree with that? Yeah, if I get you nodding, or if you think, no, that's not what I think would happen, then. Okay.
I also chose bananas, and with the same reason, actually.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can criticize myself because you commented once that there are no cats, like, and no one even remembers about them. So it seems monkeys shouldn't remember about bananas. So if they don't remember them, would they cry or not?
I suppose maybe not. No.
And also,
because they wouldn't. Yeah.
Different things when they have never existed before. Maybe now they eat strawberries. Like,
okay, yeah.
Expression of go bananas is go strawberries.
They don't remember, but they feel this emptiness in their hearts.
That could very possibly be true. Yeah. So let's see. Bernard, do you want to share what you had?
Yeah, so I chose The Voice. There would be like 2 or 3 million people on a Friday night that have 3 hours to spend in a different way. That's a lot of time.
A better way, you mean?
Yeah. Well, we can't judge here in this P4C session. So, and
yeah,
that there will be, that's the biggest thing actually. But then there will be another TV show
could be
where those 3 million people look at.
Idols. Otherwise,
nobody would remember that there would have been a television show in which people would have been able to participate only because they want to be famous. So the whole idea of that it is important to become a famous person in your life and to waste your life on that idea would have been gone. So that means that people would have, and especially children, would have seen that there's also other opportunities. No, that there's other opportunities in life. And
yeah,
no pursuing of such stupid thing as wanting to be famous.
But wouldn't it then have to be to sacrifice talent, like talent shows on television instead of just The Voice? Because now you still have Idols, for instance, or
No.
One's Got Talent.
All the formats are gone. And who's ever seen talent on The Voice? But that's a whole different discussion.
Well, I do like the implications that Marcel gave about that it isn't just the television show that's gone, that disappears, but also the drive and motivation to be on that specific kind of talent show disappears. And that's also the gist of what the book is talking about when they explain, okay, so mobile phones disappear or clocks disappear.
Speaking of clocks,
so I'd say let's
30
move.
seconds.
30. Oh gosh, really? Okay.
No.
No, yeah, I was. Yeah, so I think we'll just go to the plenary then. So your ticket to go right now is, what is absolutely one thing that you wouldn't want to give up? Where would you draw the line? Because in the book, our main protagonist was not able to go without cats. And so he chose to sacrifice his own life in order to save cats. So where would you draw the line? What would be your limits?
Sorry.
Is it okay if we still answered that?
Of course.
Yeah, thanks. And I think that if you already know it, then let's just go right into it so that we don't.
So you basically turn around the question here. You say, well, if there's one thing that you could not do without, what would that be?
Yeah. Because I know we skipped a lot of the things because I was going to go into, okay, is it ethical to choose your own life before all of the other things, and also what is essential for human happiness in that way. But we weren't able to do that now. But that's basically why I'm linking back to the story now, just as a ticket to go.
I think my answer would be either, well, I'm doubting if I should say friendship or family. It's a big one, but that's where I would definitely draw a line.
Well, to build on that one, what about love? Because that can be
that's a good
related
one.
to family and friendship altogether.
Yeah. Good one. Yeah, then that would be my answer. Yeah.
Others?
I draw the line at food.
Yeah, quite basic, isn't it?
Yeah, quite basic, but yeah, without survival, there's not really a lot of space for friendship and family.
No, true.
I thought.
Hey, so
yeah, I thought about like live in nature first, and then when I heard about friendship and love, I thought about feelings.
Okay, yeah. So I think we need Nastran. Who's the last one?
Yeah, I also thought about the love and feeling.
Yeah. No, I would agree with those, because, well, even a book talked about getting rid of movies, and even then I was like, oh, no, because I really love going to the movies. So that's probably why I would have drawn the line. I know it's not very, it's not as deep as love, but I would draw the line with movies.
Intense.
Well, it could be. Yeah, personally, yeah. So yeah, thank you for participating in this session. Should we do a tip-top round now?
Yeah, shall we do the feedback round right away?
Yeah. Should I pass on the mic then to someone?
Please do.
Yeah. So Nastran, you've got the mic now.
Thank you. I love the topic, actually. Yeah, and it was a little bit deep, not a little bit too deep, especially in the introduction part when you talk about that. What would be worth if I die, for example, nothing will happen. Actually, it was a bit, that's true. I love it. And yeah, it was really good. Actually, the topic for this age that you want to provide a lesson, because you design it for the adults, yeah, not for children.
Yeah.
I don't have any things that I can say that maybe you can do it, improve it, but it was great. I love it. Thank you. And then Nina.
You said my name, right? Yeah. I agree. This is such a fun topic, and I think it's super interesting, and that's also that's my top. You made it very interesting about like the question and the imagining what the world would look like, to make that extra step to not just think about, okay, what do I find important in life, but what will the world actually look like when this is not there? I thought that was a really good and interesting question. But that's also where my tip might be, because you let us just pick our own of the topics to think about, which is interesting, and it led to some great conversation. But it might also be interesting to either let you pick one that we are a bit surprised and have to think, specifically have to think about this one topic, and then we can all discuss our different reasons for that one topic. But then once our conversation started going, it was super interesting. So
I think it depends on the classroom. For example, if you're in a classroom and you know your children, okay, are they able to think outside the box and creative thinking on their own, or are they not that far yet? Because then the book does say, okay, so movies, clocks, mobile phones, and cats would disappear. So then I could list those things, and we would choose that. I really like that idea too. Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
So my tip, well, first of all, my top, I really like that book. I don't know What's the title again?
If cats disappeared from the world by, okay, it's a Japanese name.
Yeah.
Genki Kawamura. Okay, I
No,
butchered
yeah.
the name. I'm sorry.
You can send it to us.
Should I? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
So I didn't know about it, but I really like the topic and also the way it's written. So that stimulus was very nice that you got it out of a book. Yeah, say also got a answer similar to Nastaran's, that it really makes you think, and yeah, like that. And next to what Nina has mentioned for a tip, I was a bit confused by the wording, because what I said as well, like when I think of a sacrifice, it's something that you're not, I think of something that I don't really want to give up, but I have to in order to get something else. So that's well, maybe it's a different interpretation of sacrifice,
Yeah.
but I think that's how how more people might understand it.
Yeah, you had a concept of true sacrifice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, to me, yeah, I think a sacrifice is something that always hurts because you don't really want to sacrifice it. So, well, that's how I see a sacrifice. But that was actually the only thing, because I really like the setup of thinking, and also what Nina said could also about picking one topic that could also result in very interesting debates. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Shall I go next? Looking at the clock again. Sorry, it's becoming an obsession today. What I really like about your approach, Carmen, is indeed that you drew your philosophical topic from world literature. So I think that's really great. So channeling that imagination of the author into your philosophical session, I think that's really good. I think you can make the topic more philosophical and less pointing towards the creativity, but making it more philosophical. For instance, when people bring up arguments about what the world would look like in case this and this thing would not be there, think of the argumentation schemes and schedules that Anastasia shared with us last week and I think the week before. So you could ask participants, especially adult participants, to pour their argumentation into such a scheme and work with propositions and see whether the philosophical logic and order would be okay or not.
Yeah.
Thinking about these implications and hidden assumptions. Yes, something that we like imply and think that that's obvious, and like it can be about values as well, but some general knowledge, to dig it out. Yeah, that's a good thing to do with adults. So I was extremely involved. I even didn't make comments from the very beginning as I did in the previous sessions. So I really loved this topic. So I shared you this kind of exercises as well. I'm glad we tried very different things today. So far. So it's really necessary, I guess, when Nastaran, I clarified the question, then Nastaran clarified, then Bernan clarified the question. So I wonder, like, is it possible to write grief, for example, not an object, but a feeling, and thinking not of sacrifice in this true way, but something that I would actually like to eliminate from the world. So that's something you can think of. Would you like us to choose absolutely whatever comes to our mind and work with it later? Or you would like us to focus on this true sacrifice, or maybe like something else, really objects? So that was the main thing, I guess. So I would ask you to share the further questions that you that we were supposed to go through between the ticket and the beginning. So please share with us. And I thought about the philosophical one, like what makes important things important. So how do we build these important things? how, like, that's one of the biggest questions here.
What philosopher was that, Anastasia?
What makes important things important?
Yes, but who came up with that?
No, that's something I suggest that can
Okay.
be, something that it can move into. And the playful part, it's really different when you work more on logic on this in drawing implications. So inferences, sorry. So you can play with the objects, maybe even play it first, like for 5 minutes, really quickly, randomly. Like I had cards for that purpose, or like, again, like just a bag of objects. So you take something out, it can be a banana. So there are no more bananas in the world, like from now. And one thing, if we eliminate, all bananas disappear from the world right now, and then monkeys cry, for example. And the other way to do it, like, bananas disappear from the whole history of humanity and the universe. So from like there are no bananas at all, and there have never been any bananas, and that's a different thing. And we can try to compare these things as well, like the inferences are different. So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, that's the run. So, and we are right in time. We have the exact
sort of. Yeah.
That's great.
A compliment for your discipline for all of you. Now,
okay, so it's me now. Actually, I prepared the.
Do you want me to share? You can do it.
No, I can't share it, but I think I will try to share it. But I prepared this PowerPoint for today, not actually for classroom, because I wanted to explain actually the lesson. I will work with you only 2 of the slides. So my topic is about the climate and the responsible citizen. It would be, because I always like to go session further, choose a topic, and then session by session go deeper. So, but the main topic is about the climate. But first I will start it with responsible citizen. So the first slide is a photo. So what do you think about this photo? What is your thought about this picture actually? What come up in your mind? Maybe you can share something.
You want us to write down something, or do you want us to
No,
say
just
it
express it. Come up with that.
It makes me sad.
So what do you think about this photo? Do you think where is this, where does this photo take? Where did this photo take actually? And what do you see in this photo?
What I see in this photo is a lot of garbage in a canal where a boy is trying to he's standing in the middle of the garbage, like he has a big smile on his face, I think. But do you want it to be like objective what I see, or what I?
Yeah, but objective, or what you see actually.
So
why it's happened, for example, here, because you see that is a lot of garbage.
Like why I think there's a lot of garbage, or?
Yeah.
Well, because people either don't throw away their garbage properly, so it ends up in the sea, or it doesn't get how do you say this? It's just not recycled, so it ends up there.
Yeah, maybe someone can add something to Nina.
Yes, I'm willing to share my thoughts. What I immediately thought here is well, actually what happened to me is that I did not think something, but a smell was coming back to me. I once was in the opportunity to visit Bali, a wonderful tropical island, 2014, for work purposes. I was visiting students there on teaching practice, and I visited the beach, and this is what I saw. And it's not only what I saw, it's also what I smelled. So there was an awful smell there. So it was such a paradox. So at the one hand, it was a fantastic, fabulous beach with palm trees, and on the other hand, there was a lot of rubbish that was washed ashore that stank incredibly.
So you kind of compared the two different part of, for example, the place that you see in real life and you see in the photo.
Yeah. So it brings back an experience.
So
my first thought was about responsibility. Like when I looked at this beach, I thought, oh, how irresponsible people are. So they didn't take care of this garbage properly, and it ended up like that.
yeah, thank you. And Bernard and Carmen, do you want to add something?
Yeah, my first idea was that I've never seen so much garbage in the water. You know it's there, but in this context, I haven't seen it, like not at the shore. I know about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, but that's different than this. Also, the boy, the contrast is really big. And he seems happy. That's the strangest part. I'm a bit confused by this picture.
You're confused because he
Because
looks
the things
happy.
the things don't add up in my mind.
So it would be a little bit conflict between what you see in beach, in the beach that is clean, and here is not actually clean and super dirty,
Yeah.
and boy is okay.
Yeah, and why is he smiling while he's standing amongst all that garbage?
So Carmen, would you like to add something or maybe answer Bernard's question?
Yeah, I'd like to first start with, I also thought about responsibility because it looked like that because he has this huge bag with him, it looks like he was picking up the trash and trying to clean it because the bag is all filled and stuff. So then the responsibility dilemma for me would be, okay, the trash comes from usually the Western countries, the sea moves around or something, yeah. So isn't it then our responsibility to make sure that that trash that comes from us doesn't end up there for that boy to pick up and clean, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the possibility that he's smiling could be that sometimes the trash and the plastic that they collect is sold, so they can make a bit of profit from that. So maybe that's why he's smiling. But then, yeah, or he found those goggles in the sea, and he was like, "Oh my God, look what I found! I'm so happy I got these goggles."
Or maybe I could also say that maybe he used to live in this area actually, so he didn't see another clean beach, actually real beach. That's why that is the beach looks like for him like this, and he knows he just play here and he want to swim. It could be also, yeah. So I will go to the next slide. The next slide, actually here I wanted to explain some example of responsible citizen to children. And so I will ask you some of this one. For example, why is it good to plant tree? Who can answer me?
Well, if I would be then very Anastasia like, I would say, why, like, is it good to plant a tree?
Sorry?
Is it actually good to plant a tree?
Yes, because it's good for plant. So I have already answered your question.
No. We don't want independent thinkers to take over, Bernard. Please follow.
Okay.
May I ask a question and maybe clarify what happened right now, and something that made me wonder as well. So one of us, two of us, spoke about responsibility, so it links somehow to our answers. And now it's like one more thing that we can find, because it's a kind of a poster, and you want us to relate to this poster, yeah?
Relate to this poster, yeah, because I gave some example, that is what is a responsible citizen look like, because I will give some example normally to children. to have some idea to clarify the question actually for them. And then that's why I show it to you. But the next slide, I will work it with you. It's just
Okay,
as
so
an
we try to now. It's like I can answer to Bernard. We are not criticizing. We're working with the given thing, and we try to make sense of it. So even if you disagree, can you make sense of it? Can it be reasonable? Can it be responsible for a citizen to plant trees? So it may be, and we can give an argument. So who can give an argument?
Okay, so
Carmen?
the next.
Oh, Carmen?
Oh, sorry.
Well, sure, to go with why is it good to plant trees, or why is it responsible to plant trees? There are many trees being cut down. So if you plant a new tree, you contribute to possibly a better balance between the trees that are being cut down and that are being regrown, basically.
Could you also connect it to photos?
Photos?
The photo that you watched, the first photo, yeah.
Not really, not
really.
No, I'm sorry.
But how about the responsibility for the responsible citizen?
I think because a citizen is a citizen of the world, I guess, of the earth. You live on the earth, so you have to take care of the earth. So then making sure that there are enough trees in the world is a responsibility as a citizen. So then you would have to plant a tree, I guess.
Nina, how about you?
I agree, actually. Yeah. I don't really have anything to add, actually. I was thinking the same, like we have to be responsible for the place we live in, and one way of doing that is by planting trees to create a greener environment, and especially to compensate for the ones that are being cut down. So yeah, I agree with what Carmen just said.
So now we have some idea that what is the could be a responsible citizen, but this part normally I wanted to work as a group of children, but because we don't have time, maybe you could say, each of you say one qualities of the responsible citizen. Maybe you can write it in chat.
Okay.
Only one qualities of responsible citizen. Did you write it? Because I cannot see that actually.
I did. And also Anastasia did and Bernard did.
I cannot open my chat.
Really?
No. Yeah.
Maybe you can try stop sharing the screen right now and open it.
Okay. Okay, now because we don't need you can now, all of you, decide only to choose two of these qualities.
Oh
no, someone didn't do that. And Nina didn't.
Nina has disappeared.
I just got a message from her that her internet just stopped. So she was kicked out and she's trying to come back in. Yeah.
And Carmen, you haven't written.
Carmen, you need also.
Yeah, could be. I'm trying to find this one very specific word that I can't get to. So that's why I haven't put anything in there yet.
Was it in Dutch?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of like more of a concept. It's about. Should I share it? I'm not sure, or should it just continue?
Yeah, you can. So maybe it can be not one word, but it can be a kind of expression. Nastaran didn't ask us to write just one word, but one one feature.
Quality.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll type that in. Yeah.
Time is rushing meanwhile, so we have a minute and a half left.
Only 1 minute.
Yeah, a minute and a half. We have an impression.
So should I explain only the lesson that I want, or you want to answer, because it takes a little bit time to answer it?
You choose.
It doesn't matter for me.
I suggest
you
that
choose.
you use this minute to choose like Bernard and Carmen. So what would you choose from our list as the most important thing, and why?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a small rating activity.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say compassion is, I think, the main thing, and my argument for that would be that, or I would suppose that if you act out of compassion, you can't do something wrong. Now, that's what I believe, that if you are compassionate and you act from that compassion, then the decision you make isn't going to end up like wrong or negative. It's
So you mean, if what does it mean then to be compassion, but not being, for example, a caring person about the around?
I think they could be separate things. I think they are.
So you mean that our values stand alone, or they complete each other?
Well, I think they definitely complement each other. I'm not quite sure which values, but they do intersect. But
so I mean that if you are the compassion citizen, respond, you have this one, but you are not caring, you don't care actually about the around you. So it means
I don't
that
think
you
that's
are not really
possible. I don't think if you are truly compassionate, you are taking care of those around you, and your decisions reflect on the fact that you take care of those around you. But that's my personal belief.
So so the values are completing each other, yeah?
Yes, these two, yeah.
And they
yeah.
link to each other.
Yeah.
Okay, I think looking at the clock, we need to give you some feedback, and also we're nearing the end of the session, so I think we should go over to that part.
But yeah, you can say very shortly. So what else what's the structure? What else we were supposed to?
Actually, first I prepared the lesson just to present it for you, not really teach it in the classroom. That's why it was not such things. And then for the next I will ask children to say something that their responsibility at home, their responsibility at the school, and their responsibility in community, and also their responsibility for yourself, because it's important that for some culture are individual and some culture are so collectivist, and they completely forget, for example, in the culture of collectivists, they forget about their responsibility about themselves. Do you understand what I mean? And then for the next session, I would go to talk more deeper about how they have to take care of the earth. That's why I started with the responsibility as a person in their community, and then go deeper. That's why it was the last activity that I wanted to children to eat.
Kind of circular. So you start small and you arrive at
like
larger.
IPC, PYP, correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think we need. It's really a shame that Nina has dropped out, and she's communicating via the chat, but she can't get back in, as it seems. So shall we then, as for the remainder of the session, give you some short feedback?
Yes, please.
Bernard, do you want to go first? Bernard, do you want to go first?
So
Yeah.
what I like, yeah. what I like about this is that it's, well, most definitely a very actual happening topic, and it's something that children come across in their daily lives everywhere, and they will, yeah, it's good to build a foundation. I believe it's good to build a foundation of what it means to have responsibilities, because but at the same time, responsibilities is such a big concept, that you can even have a debate about, like, I don't know, like, what are your responsibilities? It's, yeah. No, that's why I really like the topic, because it goes so deep and you can have such a big discussion around it. Even though we would probably all agree that we should take care of the earth, but even the longer you think about it, the more questions arise. Like, so, like, whose responsibility is it? Why? Like, so that's a very broad topic. That's also why you probably devote multiple sections to it. So, but yeah, no, it's the depth of it, I really like it, and the practicalities. And one tip might be, yeah, well, to me, the link from the picture indeed to the next slide, there was a bit too fast for me. I didn't see the link. Oh, and by the way, I really like the opening with the picture as well.
No, I understand. Yeah. I'm a bit nervous, to be honest.
No, but that's all right. But maybe like have a visual there, maybe
a little introduction. Yeah, what are we going to do next? Like, what we finish this?
To follow a slide. Yeah.
Thank you.
The thing is, yeah.
Shall I go next?
Yeah.
Or had you finished, Bernard? Yeah. Okay.
Just one thing. Actually, because I also always used to forget to ask things or mention instructions. That's why I always put it on the board, just because I said, yeah, it's too much to for yourself, at least in my experience, to keep all questions and instructions in mind as well. So also not to forget.
Thank you.
Okay. I think a really important topic, but also a potentially very, very dangerous topic, because you place a lot of responsibility, to use that term, on the shoulders of these tiny creatures, these children, if you do this in an international school context. So is it fair, it could be a question, to ask from children to solve world problems in a proportionate manner? Question mark. So that's first and foremost an important remark. But then again, of course, there's no way around this topic. It's all over the place, and it's going to be massively important in the next decades for sure. So it's going to have a place in education anyway. I think so. It may not have sounded like that, but it is a compliment. Compliment that you put such an important topic under the learner's attention. So I think that's very important. I think also the fact that you were only having 15 minutes here has put a lot of pressure on you. So it was difficult to deepen out things, etc., etc. And I think as a general tip, I would say that it is important, if you have so little time, to focus on one important thing and not to want too much in a brief period of time. So focus is I think, an important tip that I would like to give you.
Okay,
Others?
yeah.
So Carmen, maybe?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, what I liked at the end when you explained the whole setup, so that you're doing multiple lessons and that this is just like the small part of it, that you dissect such a huge chunk of responsibility and with the climate crisis and all, that you kind of like make it a bit more digestible with each session. That's when I really thought, okay, that's very clear, and I think that's a good thing to do with children. Yeah, I do like the pacing. Again, the 15 minutes, that's I think with every session that we had today, it feels so short. But it's a good, I think, peek into what your philosophy lesson would be. So yeah, I like the overall thing that you, the circular thing that Marcel said. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I really like this idea of naming one thing at first, one feature of 3 things at first that you write, and then you focus and focus and focus, and you encourage this decision making and rating. Yeah, and so it really works a lot when you work with like again maybe a big group, but not even a big group, so each one answers personally. Yeah, then they can choose like one in pairs, then they come together, and they yeah, in bigger groups they choose, and then the whole class comes together, and they have only like 3 things, and finally they choose one. And it really works very well. So you have this yeah, personal thinking, yeah, this little discussions, rating, and final choice. That's a great structure, and you can even use it for the whole lesson, yeah, like for one session. That you draw distinctions, your dialogue with Carmen. Yeah, does this be compassionate? Yeah, imply action? Yeah, and is it really different? Yeah, this concept from yours. So that was a really good work. That you look for different kinds of responsibilities, yeah, and link with practice as well. So you really thought about like lots of different things that you can like unravel, yeah, in your sessions. The only thing is, yeah, the instruction and the links, so that we know, yeah, the flow, yeah, kind of. And one more comment I will leave for the next session for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you all for your contributions today, and we will bring our thanks to Nina as well. Shall I stop the recording?
Yeah, so it's